Welcome to Jasper National Park and this, the ultimate travel guide. In this video, I'll show you how to get here, how to get around, where to stay, where to eat, and what there is to do and see in the largest national park in the Canadian Rockies. Jasper is located immediately north of Banff National Park. The town of Jasper is about a 3.5-hour drive from the Banff town site. In reality, though, it'll take much more time than that, as there are so many things to stop and look at along the way. And of course, we'll be covering all of the sites in the park later on in the video. The nearest international airports are Edmonton, which is a 4-hour drive, and Calgary, which is a 5-hour drive from Jasper. And if you're traveling from the West Coast like I did, it's about a 9-hour drive. In addition to driving to the park, you can travel to Jasper by bus or train. And yes, you will need a Parks Canada pass to enter Jasper. The best way to get around the park is by vehicle. The park is 2.7 million acres in size, and if you're wondering, that's bigger than Yellowstone National Park. Public transportation is limited to the town site and local areas only. If you need some assistance while in the park, there is a great visitor center in town. This beautiful log and stone building is open year-round. Accommodation options within Jasper National Park range from campgrounds to luxury hotels. In the town of Jasper, you'll find hostels, motels, bed and breakfasts, and vacation rentals. The primary location for accommodation is the town of Jasper, but you'll also find lodging on the edge of town and just outside the town of Jasper. I've stayed at many of the hotels, including this one, the Jasper Park Lodge, although this one was many years ago when I worked in the tourism industry in Alberta. And the Jasper Park Lodge is, in my opinion, the best hotel in Jasper. This time, though, I didn't stay here. I stayed in the middle of town at Whistler's Inn. As you head south into the park, you will find additional lodging at the Columbia Icefield and Saskatchewan River Crossing. Camping is a real highlight in Jasper. You know, if you dig camping, being in nature and exposed to wildlife and all of the elements in the mountains. But if you do, there are over 1,700 campsites spread amongst 14 campgrounds in the park. The largest campground is Whistler's, that's where I'm at right now, and it has nearly 800 campsites and is only about 4 kilometers from town. 5 of the campgrounds in the park allow reservations, and the only campground that has winter camping is Wapiti. The town of Jasper has that small town mountain feel, but it's still a tourist town, and as a result, there's a wide range of options when it comes to food. You'll find most of the restaurants located on Patricia and Connaught Streets. You will find fast food places such as A&W, smaller grills, waffle places, and even sushi, Italian, and Greek restaurants. I'm boring because I tend to eat at the same chain restaurant whether I'm in Banff or Jasper, and that's Earl's. If you want something a little bit different with a killer view, you can eat at the Summit restaurant on the top of Whistler's Mountain. To get there, you would take this sky tram. There are also restaurants at Pyramid Lake, MaligneLake, and Maligne Canyon. As you head south in the park and through the Icefields Parkway, food is scarce. However, you will find eating facilities at Sumwapta Falls, Rocky Mountain Lodge, and Glacier View Lodge next to the Columbia Icefields. Jasper National Park has some of the world's greatest scenic wonders. But there's also a lot of things other than just scenery to see in the park. So here are the main attractions in Jasper National Park. The Jasper Sky Tram is another one of Jasper's many attractions and can whisk you to the top of Whistler's Mountain in about 7 minutes for panoramic views of the surrounding mountains, valleys, as well as the town of Jasper. The Sky Tram is about 7 kilometers from the town of Jasper. Jasper National Park is designated as a dark sky preserve due to its remote location away from the major urban centers and minimal light pollution, which allows for clear views of the stars, planets, and yes, even the northern lights. If you want to see even more, Jasper has its own planetarium with the largest and most powerful telescopes in the North American Rockies. MaligneLake is the largest natural lake in the Canadian Rockies and one of the most beautiful. Boat tours and kayak or canoe rentals are available so you can explore the lake and see the famous Spirit Island, which is one of the most photographed locations in the Rockies, and for a very good reason. If you're thinking about a boat tour, be sure you make advanced reservations as the tours book up very quickly in the summer. A couple of words about MaligneLake. First, if you haven't come to Jasper before, you might be surprised at how far away from Jasper it actually is. It's not just around the corner. In fact, it's about a 50-minute drive from the town. There is a shuttle that can take you from the town site of Jasper to the lake during the summer. Maligne Canyon is a deep limestone gorge carved by the Maligne River over millions of years. The canyon is about 11 kilometers from the town of Jasper, and there is good parking when you arrive. There are 6 bridges that span the canyon, each offering a different perspective and views of the many waterfalls. Needless to say, be careful and of course stay only on the designated trails. Another popular attraction is the Miette Hot Springs, which is about 60 kilometers northeast of the town of Jasper. The natural hot springs are open from May through October. So if you want a warm soak with some stunning views, you won't regret Miette. Pyramid Lake is a pristine glacial lake that boasts crystal clear turquoise water and sits at the base of Pyramid Mountain. This gorgeous little lake is less than 15 minutes drive from the town of Jasper and well worth a visit. The lake is popular for canoeing, kayaking, paddleboarding, and fishing. It's also the home to Pyramid Island and is a wonderful place to take your classic Jasper photo. There are many beautiful lakes in the park, and they include Lake Annette, Medicine Lake, and Patricia Lake. This beautiful section of the Canadian Rockies is one of the most beautiful drives in the world and starts in Jasper and ends in Lake Louise, or the opposite would be true, starting in Lake Louise and ending in Jasper. The entire stretch of this 227-kilometer long Icefields Parkway is connected by Highway 93, aptly named the Icefields Parkway, which is a double-lane highway that winds along the Continental Divide. Not too far from Jasper, you will find 2 of the most beautiful waterfalls in the Rockies, Athabasca Falls and Sunwapta Falls. Athabasca Falls is about 32 kilometers south of the Jasper town site and very easy to get to. There is ample parking, although of course in the summer it does tend to fill up quickly. The falls is an easy walk from the parking lot. A little further south from Athabasca Falls is Sunwapta Falls. There are 2 main falls, the upper and lower falls. Once again, there's plenty of parking, but the summer finds these parking lots fairly full. So getting there early in the morning, like I did, makes sense. The falls are accessible by a short walk from the parking lot. In my opinion, the star attraction of Jasper National Park, and of course, the Icefields Parkway, is the Columbia Icefield. The Columbia Icefield is one of the largest ice fields in North America, covering an approximate area of 325 square kilometers, and is perhaps the most incredible attraction in the Canadian Rockies. The must-do adventure is the Icefield Tour, which utilizes a specialized ice explorer vehicle designed to traverse the rugged terrain of the glacier. These things cost over $1.3 million and have a top speed of, wait for it, 30 kilometers per hour. The tour includes the glacier skywalk, which is either exhilarating or terrifying, depending on how you feel about heights. The observation platform has a glass floor and hangs over 900 feet above the valley floor. It really is a wonderful attraction and engineering marvel. You can also partake in a more detailed guided tour of the glacier if you want more information about the research and preservation of this fragile ecosystem. A few final tips. Tours are available from May to late September. They're busy, so reserve your tickets well in advance and take warm clothing. Glaciers are cold. When you leave the Icefield and continue south, take the time to enjoy the gorgeous surroundings. The drive itself and the views are definitely worth the price of admission. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider liking it and subscribing to the channel. Thanks. The Crowfoot Glacier Lookout is another one of the beautiful places to see epic scenery. From this pullover viewpoint on the Icefields Parkway, you can see the icy behemoth of Crowfoot Glacier that's nestled on the rocky flanks of Crowfoot Mountain. Not far from the glacier, in fact, only about 5 kilometers south is Sunwapta Pass. This beautiful area marks the boundary between Jasper and Banff National Parks and the entry into Banff. Many travel to Jasper in the hopes of seeing wildlife, and you're very likely to be rewarded. Today alone, I've seen several elk and even a black bear off the highway. The park is home to elk, bighorn sheep, moose, mountain goats, wolves, coyotes, deer, 270 species of birds, and of course, bears, both black and grizzly bears. All right, yesterday I did a video talking about wildlife in the park, and while it's true I saw, previous to that, a black bear on the side of the highway on this trip, I have an addendum, an update. I just saw 2 grizzly bears. Off the side of the highway, I was able to safely pull over, put my zoom lens on quickly, and probably got some very poor photographs, I'm not sure. But I got some video too. I hope that worked out. And if it did, I'll put it on the screen right now. Whoa, but what I can say is so exciting. It's so exciting to see wildlife like that in their environment and have an opportunity from a safe distance to observe them for what was about 15-20 minutes. Wow. Now, an important word about bears. Be safe. Respect their distance, respect the fact that they're wild animals, and take all notices very seriously. If you do hike, carry bear spray. Do not mess around with bears. With over 1,200 kilometers of trails, hiking is a popular activity in the park, and there are some phenomenal hiking trails right here. The most notable trails include the Valley of the 5 Lakes, Sulphur Skyline, and the incredible Mount Edith Cavell trails. Canoeing, kayaking, and even paddle boarding are popular in the park, and there are so many lakes where this can be done. I personally love Patricia, Pyramid, and Medicine Lakes, as they're not too large and not too strenuous. But if you're up for a serious challenge, MaligneLake, well, that's tough to beat. Fishing is popular, but there are many restrictions. And remember, in the park, actually any national park, you need a permit. Jasper is home to Marmot Basin Ski Resort. While not as large as either Lake Louise or Sunshine Village to the south in Banff, it is far less crowded, so you'll probably enjoy more time on the slopes here in Jasper. And if you love the links, there's a world-class golf course just across the way at Jasper Park Lodge. And of course, there's so many other things to do in the park, including horseback riding nearby at Jasper Park Lodge. If you're visiting Jasper, there's a good chance you may also be visiting Banff National Park, which is great because it's immediately to the south of Jasper. Banff has so much to visit that I highly recommend you allow as many days as possible to see the sights. The many highlights include Peyto Lake, Bow Lake, the world-famous Moraine Lake, the beautiful Lake Louise, which is my favorite area in the Canadian Rockies, and then further south there's Johnston Canyon, and of course, the iconic town of Banff. And bordering Jasper to the west is Mount Robson Provincial Park, home to Mount Robson, the tallest mountain in the Canadian Rockies. So there you go, the gorgeous Jasper National Park. If you're heading into Banff, check out my Banff video right here.